Now, hope for a ceasefire in the ongoing Israel-Gaza war appears very slim, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu shutting down talks of a ceasefire negotiation, citing an unwillingness to comply with Hamas's conditions for ending the conflict in Gaza. Israel's military has ordered Palestinians to move out of eastern Rafah, warning that it is about to use quote-unquote extreme force in southern Gaza. The order follows a night of intense Israeli bombardment that killed 22 people in Rafah, including 8 children. Now, earlier on Sunday, Hamas fired rockets at the Karim Abu Salim crossing, killing 3 Israeli soldiers. And following these attacks, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected proposals for a truce in Gaza, saying Hamas's demands for a withdrawal of troops from the enclave and an end to the war were quote-unquote unacceptable. Netanyahu asserted Israel's position, stating that his country cannot accept Hamas's demands. He said, and I quote, "We are not prepared to accept a situation in which the Hamas bridges comes out of their bunkers, taking control of Gaza again, rebuilding their military infrastructure, and return to threatening the citizens of Israel in settlements surrounding the southern mountains in all parts of the country." Meanwhile, in a surprising move, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has also announced the closure of Al Jazeera offices in Israel, citing a unanimous government decision. While writing on X, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, and I quote, that the government headed by me unanimously decided the incitement channel Al Jazeera will be closed in Israel. However, details on the timelines and duration of closure still remains unclear. Netanyahu's government has long complained about Al Jazeera's operations, alleging anti-Israeli bias and accusing the network of being a quote-unquote mouthpiece for Hamas. Meanwhile, Al Jazeera's media network has condemned Israeli government's decision to close its operation in Israel, saying it's a criminal act and warning that the country's suppression of free press stands in contravention of international and humanitarian law. The statement says, and I quote, Al Jazeera Media Network strongly condemns and denounces this criminal act that violates human rights and the basic right to access of information. Al Jazeera affirms its right to continue to provide news and information to its global audiences. However, Israel remains firm in its decision to shut down the operations of Al Jazeera in the nation, branding it to be a mouthpiece for Hamas. Now, this is the latest feud between the Jewish nation and the media house. The move also puts the spotlight on the ownership and handing off the network headquartered in Qatar's Doha. But for now, the focus is on massive evacuation, with Israel's armed forces urging people to move out of Rafah and evacuating Palestinian civilians, suggesting an upcoming attack on the Gaza city. Though there is still no confirmation of a ground assault, a looming threat of ground invasion remains imminent.